All right, here we go. The Eagles and the Bears are the only non-regular season rematch this weekend. They cap off the wild card weekend in Chicago. The defending champs are sparking up again. They have won their last 3 games with Nick Foles, but now it's the best defense in football as the Bears D has allowed the fewest points in the NFL. So, Tim, against a powerhouse defense, what changes most for Nick Foles, do you think?
I think, a lot has been made about, hey, are the Eagles better with Nick Foles as quarterback over Carson Wentz? And I think part of it is kind of 2 things in terms of characteristics of him as a quarterback. Oftentimes he plays right on time and in rhythm. That's important, especially against a good pass rush. The other aspect of it for him, and I think it's a real true strength of his, is his ability to stay inside the pocket and throw the ball accurately when things aren't perfect. People will say throwing out of the well, basically. It's a drop back. The offensive line is kind of getting pushed back into your lap. You have people around you. You maybe have to adjust the way you throw the football. But Nick has just kind of the confidence and the ability to stay in there when that's all going on and push the ball down the field to an in cut to Alshon Jeffrey or go route. And it's kind of this unique ability that not all quarterbacks have that he possesses, and it's going to need to be, kind of on display against that Bears defense.
He loves him some pressure, too. These are the kind of moments that make
that doesn't hurt.
St. Nicholas Foles. All right, so what about this Bears defense? What do you think they throw at him today?
Well, you know what I think goes underrated about this Bears defense is their cornerback play. You look at Kyle Fuller and Prince Amukamara. These 2 guys don't give up big plays. And now we're in a day and age where offenses want to get chunk plays. Offenses want to eat up yardage quickly, and they just don't allow it. And so when you have a guy like Khalil Mack, where you have a guy like Hicks, people that can rush the passer in the way that they do, and you have corners that cut off the initial routes, that's how you get pressure on quarterbacks. That's how you get sacks and sack fumbles. And that's what Nick Foles is going to have to contend with today, because you've seen Nick Foles as he's gotten back. Nelson Aguilar has been more in the game. Obviously, Alshon Jeffrey has become the #1 receiver that he was last year. So for Nick Foles, he's going to have to use Zach Ertz, maybe Sproles on checkdowns, because outside, Fuller and Prince Amukamara, they shut down the initial routes. And that's how Khalil Mack and that front line gets pressure.
Yeah. Experience versus innocence. I can relate to that, but it's worth noting. Mack never won a playoff game. Roquan Smith, Jackson, Trubisky, Cohen, Howard, and many other Bears all making their postseason debut on Sunday afternoon. We'll see.
Houston Houdini is some kind of magician. He's elusive, quick. He got eyes in the back of his head.
He make magic on the field.
Watson scrambling up the middle of the field, gets away from Lawson. Touchdown! Wow. Showing magical feet.
I feel like I'm a playmaker. I'm always working on my feet, working, try to extend plays. Make sure that we get some positive out of it, even whenever it's, it feel like it's about to be a negative play.
Watson in trouble, gets away from a sack. Watson throws to the end zone, caught! He does it again! Houdini!
It's fun to watch as a defensive guy and enjoy the show.
No surprise here. Deshaun Watson has been one of the best quarterbacks in football at keeping that play alive, ranks near the top of the league at passing when he's outside of that pocket. Young Patrick Mahomes is the only player with more touchdown passes when he's outside the pocket, and Watson is 3rd in passer yards and total QBR on those escaping plays. Here's an excerpt, though, this is really cool, from Peyton Manning, available exclusively on ESPN Plus, where he shows us how smooth Watson can be both inside and outside of that pocket.
On this episode of Detail, we'll take a look at Houston Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson. Probably cover 2-man pre-snap, right? Why do I think it's man-to-man? Because watch this defensive back follow Hopkins across the formation all the way outside. When that happens, that's probably some type of man-to-man indicator, right? We've talked about what cover 2-man is. 2 safeties deep, man-to-man underneath. That's pre-snap. Boom. Post-snap, what do? They switch to what I call 1 robber coverage. This guy is a robber. He's going to try to rob the ball. He's going to stare at the quarterback's eyes and try to intercept the ball across the middle. Some teams call it 1 lurk. He's going to lurk there in the middle. My point is, quarterbacks versus this coverage, when we recognize it post-snap, because our eyes should be down the middle post-snap, we see those safeties rotate. One guy robs to the middle, the other guy goes to the deep middle of the field, throws to the outside or better. They're safer, right? Anything across the middle has a chance to get deflected by that robber or broken up by that robber. So an outside throw, great recognition and pocket movement by Deshaun. Watch this throw and route to Hopkins. This is big-time stuff. Hopkins getting inside, boom, now sticking, going outside. I know I've mentioned the term pattern integrity before. This is important. Watch this tight end. He has a little flat route up top. He is running a 3-yard flat route. This is a perfect depth. If he goes any deeper, if he runs 6 yards, his defender could fall off to Hopkins and get his hands on the ball. So we got to have good pattern integrity. If the diagram on your playbook sheet, if it says 3 yards, doggone it, run 3 yards. Don't run 4, don't run 5. It all matters. It means something, even if you're not getting the ball. You see him right there. His eyes are down the middle. He knows it's one robber. He's going to work outside. 2 hands on the ball there, a little slide step, a little shuffle. There's a drill called a gauntlet drill where you want to work on 2 hands on the ball and having guys around your hands and around your feet. Get quarterbacks to kind of form a gauntlet and work on 2 hands on the ball and making throws with guys around your feet and around your body. Good job, eyes downfield the whole time. You'll see this throw come up later. Here, watch how Deshaun kind of flattens this throw a little bit, right? It's a post corner. He kind of flattens him away from the defender, but over the flat defender's hands. Big time throw. For more analysis, go to Detail on ESPN+.
The world needs more of that detail, I'll tell you that. So it's kickoff just a few hours away. Welcome in the great Lisa Salters, who's on the call today in Houston. Lisa, when the Texans started the season 0-3, I bet a home playoff game seemed like the impossible dream, but here we are. How are the Texans approaching round 3 with Indy?
Yeah, Jack, Bill O'Brien's message to his team this week, especially his young players, has been, we deserve to be here. Forget about that 0-3 start. Don't come out and try to dip your toe into the water of this game. Be confident. Get after it. Houston has won the AFC South title 3 of the last 4 seasons, but players say there's something different about this team. You know what it is. You know who it is. Number 4, Deshaun Watson. J.J. Watt said, I've had many quarterbacks over the years. It's nice to know who QB1 is, Watt said. And because of Watson's big game experience in college, the Texans know that the moment shouldn't be too big for him this afternoon. The Texans also know that they have one of the best wide receivers in the league, DeAndre Hopkins, who also credited Watson for his all-pro season of 1,572 yards and 11 touchdowns. Hopkins has had limited practice time the last couple of weeks because of a nagging ankle injury, and the Colts defense held him to just 4 catches for 36 yards in Week 14. But, Jack, when we talked to Hopkins in our production meeting, he boldly predicted, hey, that is not going to happen again. I can promise you that.
Lisa, great stuff. Enjoy that front row seat to today's show.
Keeping it is Jackson. Tucks it at the 10. Breaks a tackle. Goes for the pylon. Touchdown, Baltimore.
And a record number of young quarterbacks taking center stage in this year's playoffs. Is that the new winning strategy in the NFL? We'll tell you next.